What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bardic Blunders. Welcome back to the tavern. I don't know. Maybe that's a intro. Uh, on this wonderful episode of Bardic Blunders, we will be discussing the Halo Infinite Season 5 announcement. Very interesting, very exciting announcement. And I will let you go ahead and share your opinion on some of the announcements since you're the resident Halo expert.
Well, I'm Eli, by the
Oh
way, and
yeah,
that's
yeah, oh yeah.
Spencer.
Duh. Introductions. It's me. You know me. It's him. That's Eli. We're both here. We're ready to go. All right, cool. Anyways,
Oh,
Halo.
we're not ready to go.
Are we ready to go? That's a good question. I have no idea. Apparently not, judging by me. Um, yeah. So Halo Infinite is having a new season, and they
Season
announced
of 5.
season
Heh.
5. It's hard to believe we're already Halo Infinite has already been around that long for 5 seasons.
So, they're sticking to the infection stuff, which I'm cool with because infection is one of the most popular game modes.
Oh, it's one of the most fun too. I mean,
Yeah, it's not difficult to play. Anybody can play it. Yada yada. I I am under the fact that okay, it's cool sticking with infection. I miss the samurai stuff. I know they do the 1 week here, 1 week there of it, but still.
I think my biggest problem with Infinite. I know it's the MO of companies to have microtransactions so you can buy. They get you to buy and keep what I understand that. And it's an unfortunate aspect of the gaming industry right now that we all hope goes away. But I think I have to agree with that. Like the samurai only showing up every once in a while. We played a lot in season 1 whenever it first came out and they had all the samurai stuff. I was not willing to pay for all the samurai stuff and I got punished for it. I now have nothing for the Yoroi armor core because I didn't fork over my money. And it's just I don't know. It's not going to bring you a lot of goodwill from players if you're getting punished for not either constantly playing the game or just forking over a bunch of money to look how you want to look.
Yeah, I
Like
I
they
I
announced one of the big pieces of the announcement was new flood themed gear, which looks cool. It does. It looks very cool. My
I don't
immediate
know if
thought
it's is it blood? I to me it looked like it was trees.
it said flood in the trailer. It said it was flood themed. Uh, let's see. Flood customization. Yeah. Yep, it's flood. It's. I feel like it could have been done a little bit better just looking at this picture of it. It's not bad, but I like this person's comment. These look disgusting in the best way possible. Um,
They look horrible, but I love it. Yeah, I just don't know, man. I'm not a big I like the flood as an enemy, but as dressing as them, not really my
not really your jibe.
yeah. Not
quick. I'll throw it on screen real quick so people get to see. This is the picture of the flood inspired gear. It looks all right. It looks all right. But my immediate thought whenever they showed it was like, oh, good, more microtransactions. It was like, great. That's definitely what we want. Now, if they made it like a cool flood themed event and they put all the flood stuff in the battle pass,
okay.
which I mean, even I don't love battle passes either. I know Halo does it better than most, where it's like you buy it and it sticks around and you can go back to it whenever you feel like it. But
And on top of that, it's only like I think what is it, like $10?
it's
for the
$10.
battle pass?
And if you
Like-
have Game Pass and Halo Infinite was free for you, then like yeah, the $10 here and there, it's not a big deal if you play Halo a lot. I don't, so I can't personally reason buying every battle pass. I think I bought the first
the
two,
other-
and then that was it.
The other thing that they're now doing is each battle pass pays for itself.
How so?
There's enough credits in the battle pass that it will pay for itself.
Oh, so if you buy one battle pass, you get a bunch of credits through the battle pass, and then you...
So yeah, you basically aren't spending money. You're spending money to start, but after that, it's kind of free.
Okay. And that's not too bad, because then that does reward you, because it means you can buy the next battle pass without having to spend. You basically you spend $10 and you can just chain the battle passes. That's not too bad. I don't hate that. So at least that's still only a one-time $10 payment. That makes battle passes a lot better, actually. Now that you say that, I'll at least give them credit on that. I still don't love battle passes, but at least that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, well, they purposely said they wanted to do it differently, and to their credit, they did.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and that's, I think that's been the best thing Halo has done. Is so many other battle passes. It's like, I know a lot of people complain about the Fortnite battle pass. I don't really play Fortnite, but the battle pass in Fortnite is, you buy it and you have a limited amount of time to complete it. And if you don't complete it, it's like, oh well, that was money wasted. So they're trying to suck up as much of your time as possible. Obviously, you still have to sink time into Infinite to get the battle pass finished, but you can put that time in whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it's one of those, like, weird dichotomy of, like, these, now, the games now just being like, everyone's just out for the money in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, there's a lot of issues in the gaming industry right now that we didn't have 5-10 years ago, and especially not like 20 years ago. Good grief. Right now we have, one, everyone is vying for all your attention. Every single game wants to be the game that you play all the time. 2, microtransactions. I don't really need to say anything else. 3, they what? Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I love that. They're releasing unfinished games. That's what I was gonna say. So,
yeah, that doesn't help a lot of causes.
And Halo is guilty of, or Infinite specifically, is guilty of all of those. And not just to single out Infinite, because there's a lot of games that are guilty of that nowadays. And a lot of games that are guilty of bigger is better. And it's like, let's just cram 75 hours worth of content into this game when, it would have been a good 30-hour game.
Yeah.
And
And then on top of that, the games are getting so fucking oh, sorry, pardon my French. So frickin' large now that it's
I knew that was going to happen eventually. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, go continue.
they're they're getting very large in the sense of they take up so much space, so you can only have 2 games on your.
Oh gosh. Apparently not a single game developer understands the word compression. File compression. Cuz yeah, I mean, I had to buy a terabyte hard drive for my computer, a 2 terabyte hard drive. Actually, I got it for Christmas, so I didn't have to buy it, but I had to get a 2 terabyte hard drive just to download Master Chief Collection. Now, Master Chief Collection gets a little bit of a pass because it's 5 games.
It's 5 games, yes, but like it's 5 games from like 10 years ago.
From 2000 to or 2001 to when did Halo 4 release? 2012.
I think so.
So yeah, it's a bigger game, but it's just condensing all those other games into one game. It's different from like Ark Survival Evolved, which by itself is super massive. We talked about it last time. It was like 250 gigabytes with all the DLC. It's like, that is ridiculous. It's insane.
There's no reason for games to be this big.
No.
In my opinion. In my opinion. Somebody might have a different opinion, and all good for you, but...
Yeah, well, and I'm all for games with a bunch of content, but when you have certain games that, like, it's seriously, it's compression. It's file compression. For some reason, they just don't want to take the extra step of going through file compression. Because you could cut down on the size of a game. Yeah, they're still going to be big. Like, yeah, of course, GTA 5, it's still going to be a big game. Don't get me wrong. But you could take it from, like, 130 gigabytes or wherever it is, down to, like, 90 or even less. And so I don't know why game developers don't do that.
It's like, if you really look at it, like, Starfield, you don't need as much going on in that game as they have going on.
Oh, gosh. I haven't even opened Starfield yet. I keep debating it. I bat it back and forth. I'm like, I love Bethesda games, and I want to try it, but I'm just not sure. I don't feel like I can commit to it.
Yeah, I've been on the verge of installing it. I just haven't yet because I'm like, I don't know what I should do here.
My thing is, it's like, I love Bethesda games, but I play through Oblivion, I play through Morrowind, I play through Skyrim, I play through Fallout New Vegas 3, 4. I know generally what I'm doing. Like, I played the other Elder Scrolls games, I know how this works. I played the other Fallout games, I know how this works. So, even though I can sink a lot of time into a playthrough, I'm not just going to be wandering around aimlessly. I'm going to have ideas about what I want to do. With Starfield, I don't know, the traveling from planet to planet, and all I've heard about, like, oh, there's a bunch of repetitive aliens. It's like, you're walking around on a planet and you see 100 of the same kind of creature. You don't see any variety. And you get trapped into this little box on the planet rather than them letting you explore a large chunk of the planet. And
you know what had a hard time, a game that had a hard time with that actually got away with it?
What's that?
It was it's like a little space adventure game where you're trying to figure out what's going on. And the if you play the game for so long, you'll actually your star supernovas, and then it resets you.
Are you talking about Outer Wilds?
Yes.
Okay. See, yeah, and that's I honestly think indie games are the future of gaming. At least if gaming wants to be healthy. Because while the AAA titles offer us a lot of big, boisterous worlds with all kinds of stuff to do, there's not heart. And
Yeah.
you're making this big old game, and it's got the depth of a freaking kiddie pool, but
Exactly.
you play some of these indie games where someone spent time and put in some passion, and they loved this little game that they were making, and they were so excited to get it to people. They fully realize what they're making. We were talking about it earlier with the indie games, like Undertale. Undertale exploded back in 2015 because it was a small team who put a bunch of passion into this little project they had, and it I mean it captured a massive fan base, and it truly innovated on some ideas that have been stuck, like ground in gaming for so long. And you have other games like Hollow Knight, Stardew, Minecraft was an indie originally. Like all of these games doing so well. Five Nights at Freddy's was made by one dude. The whole series. It like you just have so much more quality because you have people who actually care about what they're doing. Not to say the developers. Go ahead.
You do get some people that care in these bigger games.
Yeah, that I'm not
But-
trying to say they don't care. It's just when you've got the corporate suits in front of them who don't, who only care about money, not about the game, it ruins things.
Yeah.
Because what was it? What was the metric that we talked about earlier? How much Minecraft sold prior to being acquired by Microsoft and after being acquired?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much it was?
200 million copies before Microsoft. 34 million copies after Microsoft.
That's, I mean, that's indicative of what's been happening with the game. A lot of people are frustrated with Microsoft and Mojang because of the quality of the game. Why? Because it went corporate. Like
it doesn't feel like there's 3 guys working on it in some dungeon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because Notch, in the height of Minecraft being updated, Notch updated the game almost daily. I think the fastest time between updates at one point was like 5 minutes. Like, he was cranking out things ridiculously fast. And within a week, he added, like, redstone and other core components of the game. And then Mojang comes in and they're like, we're going to do a mob vote. Here's a turtle, here's a penguin, and here's a... Oh, what's the current one? Armadillo, penguin, and crab. Why could you not just put all 3 of those in? Would it really be that hard? Like... We're kind of venting on the video game industry as a whole now. Just, I mean, definitely, as someone, I'll give a little tidbit about me. I'm trying to become a game developer. I'm learning how to code. I'm doing all that. So the more I look at the space that I want to go into, the more it frustrates me. the way a lot of things work, especially in the corporate atmosphere. And hearing stories from people who have had to work on these corporate teams and stuff like that, you hear them talk about these guys, the business people, the people who are there to market the game, who are there to make the money. They don't really care about the quality of the game, they just care if it brings them in moolah. And so they'll tell you to do these nonsensical things because it makes sense to them, even though it doesn't make sense to anyone who knows how video games work or makes them.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. I went to Dragon Con this past year, and I have been a fan of writing, and I would love to get into writing as my career, but that'll never happen just due to where I'm at in life. It's much easier to do what I do for a living than try and break into that industry.
Right.
But he talked about it was supposed to be a huge thing on like player-driven story. So like in XCOM, you have these characters that you bond with, even though you don't. They don't have a story. You're creating the story for them through playing the game, and that I was really interested in that. I wanted to go see it. Turns out he didn't do a thing on that. It was okay though, because he talked about how writing in video games is a completely different ballpark. He worked on a team for the newest Call of Duty, which
World War
I gotta find the
II?
name. No, the new one.
Modern Warfare 3. No. Well, that's the one that's
Yeah,
coming out.
Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said in a company that had like, I think they had like, yeah, I'm trying to remember the number because it was a big number, but it wasn't like a huge number. It was like 1,200 employees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When you have.
He was one of 3 writers.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though, because it's the kind of the mantra of too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, when you
Yeah.
have 5 people working on something, they're all going to have their imprint on it, but if they coincide well, if they work together, you can come up with this great product. When you have 1,200 people working on it and 3 writers, I think is fine, because if you had like 15, 20, 100, no one's going to be able to agree on things. It's just going to be constant arguing.
And he explained it was like writers. He was like writers. It's very much like you're involved for 15% of the development of a game, and it is the first 15%, and then you are done.
Yeah.
Then you hand off everything to the coders, all the other guys. You just hand it off and let it go. Now, if something comes up like, hey, we need you to rewrite this, or hey, we need you to do this, they step in, they take care of it in about 15 minutes, is what he said. It was like, you're done in 15 minutes fixing this problem for writing. And then you're back out. And he was like, writing for video games is completely different, a different ballpark than like writing for movies, writing for screenplays, because you're not really involved other than for the first 15%, which is, he was like, it's important, but at the same time, it's not that important.
Yeah.
need professional writers to write it. Look at Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Yeah, one guy wrote it all by himself.
One guy did everything by himself, and I think he just crossed 100 million sales.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, the Concerned Ape, you can tell he loves Stardew Valley. It's his baby. Like, he said, come with this next update that's coming, he's like, oh, it's just a modder update. It's just for modders. But you know he cares so much about it because he has these ideas. He's like, oh, I gotta add this. Oh, but I gotta add this too. Oh, winter clothes for the villagers. It's like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but he pours so much passion into it, and I think that is just such a better method of story crafting and game design.
It's also really funny. From all of his interviews, it was only supposed to be like he was just testing stuff out.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, he's like, I kind of like what I'm doing. And he was like, doing it for school, doing it for this, because he likes the style of Stardew. Like, he likes the farming stuff, that kind of stuff. He's like, it's cool, I like it. One of my favorite games was that. He's like, I didn't really want to do anything with it other than like, hey, I kind of put it together to show off. And then he just got involved in it.
Right. Yeah, it's for his portfolio. That's what we I have projects that I have to make for my portfolio and use whenever I'm seeking employment after I'm done with my class. And I mean, there's nothing. I haven't made any video games yet. I'm making like I think my next project I have to make like Jeopardy, something like that. And but with him, he's adding that to his portfolio. He's probably looking to get a good job, and then he gets a wild hair and decides to start working on. I've done that before. I hyperfixate on things a lot. And so I can relate to him with that. Like, oh, I got this idea. I do that when I'm writing my D&D campaign. I do that. I'm like, oh, I got this wonderful idea. And I'll just start typing. And I'll type out this, like, 3 paragraphs of this crap. And I'm like, I just spent, half an hour just typing this. And it was just a random thought that I had. And I don't know. I just focused on it. And
yeah, I get the portfolio thing because I had one to get into college, but I never took the opportunity to go.
Yeah.
Actually, I might have that portfolio lying around. I should pull it up sometime and see what's in it.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah. Sometimes you start working on something, you get an idea. It's like, because I was going to throw you guys, I'm like, oh, I'll throw you guys some ideas for a campaign on what you want to play next. And then I started having more and more and more and more ideas for this specific campaign. I'm like, never mind, I'm not giving you guys a choice. We're playing this one. This is what I want to do. And
yeah, I love D&D in that method. I mean, because look at my campaign right now that I run for our group is very player driven. It's very much like, I don't care what you guys do, just have fun.
Right. Well, and I think that's what works so well about D&D's storytelling. I think that might be the future of storytelling in video games, is the D&D style of the story is written by the players. There's a framework there for you to work in, but the story is ultimately written by you. I think it's why people love Fallout New Vegas so much, because Fallout New Vegas does exactly that. Where like Skyrim limits you, Fallout 4 limits you, Fallout 3 is not too bad, but it's still a little bit limiting. They kind of all have this one way that you can go with it. Fallout New Vegas has 5 different endings, and you can get to those 5 different endings differently in every playthrough. You know, and I think that's what makes people come back to it so much, and what people love so much about it is you're making the story. It's your character. You are working within the world that has been laid out in front of you, and you are changing the world how you want it to be. And I think there's a lot of games that lack replayability, even if they're good games. Horizon Zero Dawn. I loved the game. I will never play it again. I beat it. I got all the achievements. I have no reason to ever touch it again. Incredible game. Wonderful. But it's not one that I'd replay. You turn and look the other way to Dark Souls and Fallout New Vegas. I've played those games a bunch because I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. It's like okay, I've played a lot of Halo, all the Halos, but like I played those high faceted strategy games like Civilization, like StarCraft 2, like oh, the Civ, StarCraft, I like those games that make you have to think, and it's like, yeah, each game is different because each game you have to start over and it's a new game.
Right. And
So,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the Halo or Uncharted or the storytelling like that where you're pretty much just going through the game and living out the story. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there have been problems with the way those kind of games have been done recently. Um and that's what I'm not trying to say there's a problem. I think the problem with some games like that is they tend to do like these exposition, like lore dumps. Like, oh, I'm just in the middle of shooting a bunch of people. Bang, 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 bang. All right, cool. I made it through the level. Now here's a cutscene that explains why we're here. Okay, now I go through the level. Bang, bang, bang. All right, cool. And then here's another cutscene in the middle of the level with this other guy. And after I just murdered 700 people, we're all like laughing around and having jokes. And then we go back to murdering people. And it's like, you need to keep the game, the story progressing while you are playing the game. I don't think there should be a break of like, okay, here's story time, okay, here's kill time, here's fight time, here's whatever, game time.
I hate to say it, but Baldur's Gate 3 has done such a good job with that. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know when you're in a fighting time because the game stops.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, oops. I like last night. Oh man, I'm in a fight with a bunch of kobolds. Oh, the kobolds are exploding.
The kobolds are exploding. And I'm wandering around somewhere else. I'm like, oh, look at this. Oh, this is cool. Oh, what's that? You're in a fight? Do you need me? I don't know. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Hey, I might need you. Oh, okay. I'll figure out how to get back to you. But with Baldur's Gate, it's like the fighting is part of the story. Like it lends itself to the story. So when we're fighting, like obviously, like we fought that spider. That spider had nothing to do with the story.
It was just cool.
What?
It was just cool.
It was just cool.
That was
yeah.
something.
And that's not everything has to be related to the story, but it's like when we fight all the goblins at the goblin camp, that is part of the story. We're advancing the story by doing that fight. It's not just like, oh, let's go run and gun and kill a bunch of random things, and then we get a little bit of a cutscene that just dumps, 10 minutes of story onto us, and then we go back to shooting. And
they do such a great job with like you're wandering around. And it's like when you're party mates is like wants to talk to you for some reason. You're like, oh, okay, let me talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they like exert a little bit of stuff like, hey, here's the thing about this. And you're like, oh, that's cool. I'll keep that in mind. And then you leave the conversation and completely forget about it until they say something. You're like, oops.
Yeah, you like compartmentalize that information. It's like the Telltale games. Now, I think the Telltale games do a great job. There's not a lot of gameplay in the Telltale games, let's be honest. But I think they do a great job of like, so and so will remember that. It's like, oh, I said something they may or may not like. And that's kind of what Baldur's Gate does with the, oh, so and so approves. Like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't steal from this person. And you've got like it pops up in the corner. It's like, oh, Shadowheart and Gale approve of that. And you're advancing smaller character stories while advancing the overarching story and writing your own character's story. And you can choose like, hey, I decided to try and trick this lady with an egg that's not the Gith egg. Or I decided to just go yoink a Gith egg and then give it to her. Or I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to help you with that. Like, it gives these people, it gives players so many different options and makes the game replayable.
Yes.
So even if the game is only 30 hours, I could play it 6 times and get completely different results.
Like, one of my favorite things that has come out of it is Larian Studios, the guys who made it, were like, somebody goes, hey, so apparently I heard you can play an evil character in it and do a bunch of evil stuff. And they're like, yeah. They're like, but I hear the companions don't like it if you're too evil. And he's like, yeah, being evil is a very lonely road.
Yeah, well, and yeah, of course people aren't going to like it if you're evil. Most people aren't inclined towards evil.
And those who are not good people.
Are bad guys, right? Yeah, you are allying yourself with the bad guys, and there's going to be a lot fewer people who are like, yeah, I'm cool with just murdering this random person and taking all their stuff. Of course people aren't going to be cool with that. And they shouldn't be. You can have the odd character here and there who's like, ha ha ha, yeah, that's what I want to do. But, you know, you're not going to make characters bend to your will.
Yeah, it's one of those games that it was like, oh, the way they explained why they did so much of that game the way they did, it was like, okay, I understand what you're saying as a writer, and that's really cool to me.
Right. Well, and it makes it gives it this extra layer of like, these are other people. They're not just a machine that I can tell to do whatever I want. They're other people who have their own motives, their own ideals, their own motivations. I said motive and motivations, so I don't know, whatever. They've got their own thing that they want to do, and if you don't align with that, like you're friends with a lawful good cleric, and you go around shanking people all the time and stealing a bunch of money, yeah, you're naturally not going to get along with that person. And that's, I think a lot of games do that too, where the characters are just kind of there for you to do whatever with, and it doesn't really matter what option you pick. It you know, they won't care. They'll be evil with you if you want to be evil. And they'll be good with you if you want to be good. They just kind of exist for no reason.
Yeah. I also love how we're in a Halo episode that's turned into just straight up ragging on video games.
Oh, yeah, rambling. I mean, why not? This is I mean, we're not a themed podcast. We don't got to talk about one thing. We can just talk about whatever. That's what I didn't mind the first episode having some structure, but now anyone who's sticking around is in here for the chaotic side of this. This is where
It just makes me want to go on.
I was just gonna say this is where you witness everything fall apart, but go on with what you were gonna say.
It's like, man, the two of us should just sit down and make a video game.
I mean, honestly, I'd be down.
But we have the group to be able to do it.
Yeah,
out of all of our friends.
You do the writing, I'll do the coding. They can all be the playtesters.
Playtesters. Al can do the art.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he went to school to be a video game artist.
Hey, I think we could do it. I think we could make a solid game. Now, all right, so going off on that tangent, what kind of game would you want to make?
I'm on the laptop right now.
Awesome. I love it. See, because I've thought about this, and my idea first for a game was just making an RPG based around my first D&D campaign. The campaign we're in right now is my first time I ever DM'd, and we're actually going to be finishing the campaign. The finale is not this week, but next week. So, I had an idea of making an RPG like Final Fantasy style from our D&D campaign. And obviously there's things I have to tweak because I have to pull it out of the world of D&D and pluck it into its own world. And you know, change some things as a result. But I thought, I don't know, I liked the story that you guys told with your characters. Not even like I think I had some decently written villains in there, but your guys' characters were so entertaining to interact with through the whole campaign and really made this campaign, I think.
Yeah, there were a lot, like, there's like a villain from yours that was Belial. We did nothing but hate on this man.
Yeah, you did. Well, and that's the best part. Like, that guy was legit evil, and he was you had your epic confrontation with him, and he was like the mid-level villain who stuck around with you guys and was a thorn in your side for the whole time he was there, but wasn't the big bad. And I felt like, I don't know, I think you guys ragged on him so much because you hated him so much. Not just because it's like, oh, this guy's a joke. It's more like, we don't like you, so we're going to make fun of you.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I just thought he was a funny character. Like, as a player, I was like, yes, the big bad fire dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wasn't overly complex. I gave him a semi-rough backstory as to why he's a villain, but he wasn't. I mean, he was just evil. It was cut and dry. He was clearly evil, and there's a reason I didn't want him as the big bad, because I wanted a little bit more of a dichotomy in the big bad than just, oh, I'm the evil guy who wants to murder everyone, you know. And you guys definitely had some funny interactions with him, and that's what I enjoyed about this campaign so much, is you had him, and you guys bullied him every time he showed up. It was nothing but insults. But every other villain you guys took 100% seriously, even if you like ragged on them a little bit. It was like, okay, yeah, let's go talk with them, let's go deal with them, let's do this. But that one guy, for some reason, it's like you guys just had a vendetta against him. Like, we're gonna roast this man every time he shows up.
And the funniest part about all of it was is I very rarely participated in that. That was not me at all. It was the entire group.
Oh
Other than
yeah,
me, I'm just like, okay.
you
Because I
yeah.
was just playing the spellcaster. It's like, one gust of wind kills me.
You took your shot every now and again, but yeah, it was definitely most specifically our ranger and our artificer that were the ones talking all the crap. Those two would not leave him alone. But
He hated us so much.
but yeah, I think your guys' characters, you know, I think that's part of the reason why I started to enjoy DMing more than playing for a while, is because I was just so entertained in your guys' characters and seeing how you guys reacted to what I put in front of you, that that was so much fun for me. Like getting to sit on the other side of the screen and, you know, pull the strings and see how you got, like, I put something in front of you guys and one of you guys says, oh, this guy is definitely the big bad guy. I'm like, this guy is a peasant with 4 HP, so you can go on ahead and think he's the big bad guy, so it's hilarious to me. You know, and like that kind of stuff happens throughout the entire campaign. And while I enjoy making my own monsters and enemies to throw at you guys, I think I just love seeing everybody's way of handling the problem I put in front of you.
Yes, and a lot of our ways of handling problems were not probably the best way to go.
Oh no, but I mean, it was the funniest most of the time. I'll say that. Because sometimes the solution to the problem was just straight through, head down, bulldoze. Like, and other times that I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, but there was something that you guys way overthought. You guys are like batting back and forth, like, what do we do? Do we do this? How do we do this? What do we do? And I'm like sitting there like chuckling to myself because I'm like, it's literally the most simple thing I could have thrown in front of you guys, and you guys are having such a debate on how to handle it. Like, that is so much fun to me.
Yeah, we're not the smartest party to all you fans out there watching us.
Oh no.
We're a bunch of
But gotta be one of the most entertaining. That is faux show.
that is very for show. We should honestly start filming them and posting them because I think that would be funny.
I want to so bad. I'd have to get everyone else to agree to it. And I want to keep cursing off of my channel. You know, keep it family friendly. It's not really family friendly. I don't want to curse. I don't like cursing too much. And so it would just be a matter of getting everyone else to try and agree with that. And I mean, we play for 3 hours, sometimes longer. You know, that's a long time to be on a mic and, you know, kind of be in it. So I could understand if they didn't want to, but I definitely, at the very least, with this next campaign, I'm gonna do a campaign diary where I'll just basically we'll finish a session and I'll just pop on here and do a recap of what happened in the session. And you know, I I think that could be entertaining. I think that could be fun. But I think your campaign right now would lend very well to being streamed, being recorded.
Oh yeah, mostly that because it's a giant joke campaign.
Oh yeah. Do you want to explain to everybody what your campaign is?
I This going to be really funny. I stole the idea.
Oh. Oh, we
This
got
is
a
not an
thief.
original.
Thief.
It is stolen from Dimension 20.
Oh, okay.
And they did this high school campaign and they had a great time with it. And I was like, that seems cool. And I was like trying to make it feel like high schooly. And then I was like, we're all adults. We don't. The closest one of us to being in high school is probably you,
Is
me, and Justin.
yeah, me, well, yeah. Well, and oh no, Justin is the youngest of the three of us, but yeah, we all graduated the same time. Uh and that was 6 years ago now? Oh
So
gosh.
I was like, yeah, so let's bump it up to college, give a little bit more free will, allows the group to do more wacky random stuff. If they want to be like a little bit more sexual with what they do it. I don't care.
Or you could just be like me and be the dude who's trying to start his own band. Make it as a
I
rock
want
star.
you to I want you to know how much I'm going to cause that band problems.
Oh yeah, no, I fully expect it. What? Tell me, what college bands actually stick together and make it big time? How often does that happen? It ain't often.
Queen did it.
What was that?
Queen did it.
Queen did?
That
Yeah.
that
That, but how many other college bands have failed?
not many. Yeah, a lot.
So uh, yeah, that's definitely a fun campaign. In complete contrast to my upcoming campaign, which is I'll say it this way: if I didn't make each one of you cry at some point during this campaign, I'll feel like I failed.
Well, now I know what I'm doing. Not crying.
I want tears shed. I want despair. My campaign is going to be a little bit different. They are I can only give the information that that I have given you guys already, or will give you guys. You guys, they're going to end up in a continent that's been destroyed, basically. Like, all the cities are vacant. There's undead. There's other creatures everywhere, and it's just this dangerous continent, and they're going to be stranded. So they have to survive, and they have to. I warned them too. We're doing meat grinder, so it's death saves are 15 and above. They will hold on to death saves until completing a long rest. So even after being brought back up, if they fail to death save, that fail is going to stay there until they take a long rest. I like all kinds of brutal things because I want to punch you guys in the nuts consistently throughout this whole campaign.
What's the chances you think the rest of the group watches this?
0.
Okay, well, so YouTube audience, I will tell you what I play because we are playing a game to see if anybody can guess what everyone else is playing.
Oh, and I mean, we can do that tomorrow. Everyone's already sent me what their characters are, so we could do that tomorrow.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have everybody. That was the other thing. Nobody was allowed to tell like they weren't allowed to talk about what character they were making. They just had to make their character, and if they had the same exact character as somebody else, I mean, I'd give a heads up like, hey, change your character. I might, although I might not have. I might have just let you guys, like, if there was two paladins, I would have let you guys play two paladins. But it was completely, you had to do it all on your own. But I will allow you to introduce your character for this campaign because I really love your character.
Oh, I had two characters set up for this campaign. That's kind of funny.
Oh, you did
Well, I
already
know
have
my
your
next
second character? Uh, you can tell me about that later.
Yeah, his stats aren't rolled yet, but he's set
Ah,
up.
that's fine. Not really point in rolling stats for a character that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. Um. So I'm starting out with my. I think this is my first druid ever. So the Warforged druid, who is going to be going Circle of the Wildfire. Uh, really, not much to really know about him other than he's an ancient machine, background haunted one that has been brought, whose fire that kept him alive went out a long, long time ago, and a wildfire reignited it. So thus he is a druid of the wildfire. And he's just a big clunky, uncharismatic doofus.
Oh, I love him so much. I love his name too, Soot. And then what's his wildfire companion?
I'm stuck on that one because it's either going to be a little raccoon because I think raccoons are really funny, especially like a flaming raccoon that would just be absolutely terrifying to me. But it's either going to be a raccoon or a red panda.
Both, I mean, both good choices. They're both adorable, and the red panda's more adorable than a raccoon, but a raccoon is probably funnier. Like
Oh
I'd
yeah,
love.
because he's a little mischievous dude, just like running around setting things on fire.
I was gonna say I'd love to see your little fire raccoon like sneak real up to the fire real close, and then reach in and grab one of the coals, and then just walk away with it on two legs, holding the coal. It's like I stole it.
Hey, what are you
I
doing?
stole the coal for you, father. Oh boy.
And then my backup is a bard.
Ooh. Oh, is that the first bard since a certain bard?
Yeah, except this one, if I remember correctly, this is the lizard folk bard.
Awesome. Oh, I didn't know that was your backup. I love that.
And I think I'm having him go the weird college of skulls or college of bone. I don't know. It's the one from Van Reichman's guide.
Uh College of Spirits?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because he's a voodoo alligator.
He's a voodoo alligator. That's right. I
He's a
forgot
voodoo
about
gator.
that. Voodoo gator.
Yeah. And he's honestly a joke character, I'm not gonna lie. But in a way, so is Soot, so.
Yeah. But they're characters that are going to be interesting in how they interact with the world, which is I think that's the most entertaining thing to me. Is there
My votes are. My cast. I've already cast my votes for what everyone is playing. To let
Yes. Yeah.
you know. I'm already predetermined because I was like, screw it, I'll just do it.
And you won't change.
Nope, it is saved.
I need to get everyone else to do that. But is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we call it a podcast? Call it a whatever.
Before we yell tally ho and run into the night with our pants off.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that's just a joke I've been running at work. Is like there's this one guy who's very uh anti, like, I know we don't make certain jokes in here. We don't say those kind of things.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, and so every time I see him, I ask him if he needs help, and if he goes yes, I'm like, I'm coming, but my pants are off. And he's always like, Eli, no, I don't come out here with your pants off. I'm like, don't worry, I'll just disappoint you.
Wow. Jeez Louise. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I was just gonna make my guesses.
Oh, yeah. If you want to go ahead and make your guesses.
Finn is going to be a paladin noble tiefling.
All right.
Willie, a warlock outlander turtle.
All right.
Al or Alex is going to be a fighter soldier halfling.
All right.
And then Justin's going to be a rogue criminal Arakakra.
Okay.
And I have I know I got a 0% on this test, so.
You will have to see. You will have to wait and see.
I don't, because I 100% know none of them picked those. There's only one that I think I might have got close with.
I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, well, I mean, the reason we're doing having them guess, I'm going to give them bonuses if anyone can manage to guess something that on somebody else's character.
Because we have not talked at all about it.
Nope, I forebode it. What was that?
My chair rushed back really far.
Oh.
And I'm like in a office chair from the mid 1800s.
Mid 1800s?
Yeah, it's an old office chair. So like you lean too far back and it flips.
Oh yeah, my old chair did that a lot.
Oh, do you remember that game night where the chair shut out from underneath?
Yes, I do.
I just found like $20 on the floor.
Nice.
Mine?
That sounds.
It is covered in blood. It's gone in my wallet.
All right. Well, on that note, I hope everyone enjoyed the second edition of Bardic Blunders. We definitely will not get more structured at all as we go on. It will continue to just be chaos. But if that's all we got for now, I think it's time.
My pants are coming off. Tally-ho!
Tally-ho! And good morrow!